Yes, sir.
So, do you want to announce them what
Yeah.
our fifth topic is
So our
going to be?
fifth topic of the day is going to be our predictions on Jayden Daniels' rookie season. It's something I was scrolling through NFL Network earlier, and they were doing predictions on it. So we're going to give our own predictions.
I'll let you take
So
that.
if you want me to, so I'm going to base this off of record, and obviously it's a team sport. The defense can let them down. Other guys around them. But as a record, I think I went. I don't know if we graded his the other day, but I would probably say 6-11, 7-10 maybe. I don't really see a playoff spot quite yet. But I do say he does have a decent rookie season. Maybe like 20 touchdowns, 10, 12 picks maybe. Nothing
Okay.
too bad.
I
But
can
I
see
think
that.
I think he'll be an offensive rookie of the year candidate.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But nothing too special. But I think he'll be okay. I think he's their future quarterback.
I can see that.
But yeah, what about you?
I would agree on the record piece of it. I would definitely say somewhere around that 6-11, 7-10, 5-12 range.
Right.
I just don't think that they're good enough quite yet to make the playoffs.
They're not there yet.
Give them probably 2-3 years, they can probably be up at that wild cardish divisional round
Right.
type team. Obviously, new head coach Dan Quinn, looking to do big things. I'm excited to see if he can bounce back in that head coach role.
Right. Oh yeah, me too.
Excited to see if Jayden Daniels can perform at the NFL level.
Oh yeah.
The or the touchdown to interception ratio, I'm going to say he's going to throw somewhere around that 20 to 25 range in touchdowns, and I'm going to say about 7 or 8 picks. I'd say.
Okay.
So
around like Dak Prescott's rookie season.
yeah, somewhere around there. And then the touchdowns, I just don't think that he has all the pieces yet to put together one of those record-setting rookie years.
Agreed.
And
Agreed. He has Terry McLaurin, right? Scary Terry is his number one
he's
receiver.
got Scary Terry,
so
but
reliable.
outside of that, I mean, there's not
a whole lot of talent.
There's not a ton.
Jahan Dotson's good, but
Jahan
you gotta
Dotson
have another
is good,
guy.
but you gotta have that slot guy. You gotta have a good tight end.
You need somebody to stretch the field.
And you still need that. You still need no line.
Oh yeah,
because without no line, you can't do much.
Yep.
We've got Brian Robinson Jr. Shout out
Yep.
to him. Someone that survived a shooting
Love
and
him.
still playing in the NFL. So
Yeah,
it's
love
incredible.
Great
so
story.
shout out to him for that.
Yep.
But that's our take on
Jayden Daniels'
what we
rookie
think
season.
Jayden Daniels is going to do his rookie year. So we'll head into our sixth topic of the day.
Yep. So I'll let you kick this one off since I did the Jayden Daniels segment.
So the media, we found this one on Instagram. Media question.
NFL.
Who would you rather have this upcoming season at quarterback, Dak or Jalen Hurts? I'm going to say Jalen Hurts. Just judging off what we've seen the past, 2-3 seasons or so. He's made it to the Super Bowl. He's constantly made it to the playoffs, won games. Obviously, this last season wasn't a reflection on that.
Right.
But also based on the pieces around him. You got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You've got who's in their backfield? Saquon. There you go.
Saquon right now.
Yep. Tush push. I don't know if they outlawed that, did they? I don't think they did.
No, I think that's still a thing.
Yeah.
I think Roger Goodell didn't want to get rid of it.
But yeah, I think I would definitely choose Jalen Hurts, and it's nothing on Dak. Dak's great
Dak.
QB when
Love
he's not trying to force the ball.
Right.
That's the only issue with Dak. We saw it in the wild card round, trying to force the ball to people that are not open.
Yep.
We saw it, I think, early in the first quarter. I think he was trying to get it to Brandon Cooks.
And Jair Alexander.
Got it, but I think he was just, he's prone to a lot of mistakes, which we've seen. But when he's not making those mistakes, he can be a top 10 QB.
Oh yeah, well, especially against bad teams too.
Well, yeah, exactly. We've seen it against the Giants. And
Yep.
what I noticed this last year was it almost felt like the defense and the kicker would put up more points per game than the offense would.
That's how the Chiefs season was.
And you had Deron Bland, record-setting season. And it just felt like there were multiple pick sixes in the games that they would win, multiple scoop and scores.
Right.
Brandon Aubrey has been, had
it was outstanding.
one of, if not the best, kicking seasons in NFL history.
Outstanding.
Didn't miss a kick until that wild card round when everything that could have went wrong did.
Yep. Oh, pretty much.
I think he missed. Was it an extra point or was it a field goal? I think it was a field goal.
It was a field goal, I think.
But yeah, like I said, just Jalen Hurts has the pieces to win. He's got the head coach to win.
Yep.
I'm not fond of Nick Sirianni, but you
No,
can't
me
take
either.
away that he's a good coach.
He is.
He's got one of the best. He's got a great offensive coordinator. He's got a great defense to back him
offensive
up.
line.
Great O-line. Obviously you don't have Jason Kelsey anymore, but that doesn't take away. You got Jordan Mailata.
Yep. Defense struggled a little bit at tackling at the end there. It was pretty abysmal. They had like the worst secondary.
Yeah.
But this season we'll see.
But I mean, you've still got one of the best D lines in the league.
Oh yeah.
You got Jalen Carter. You've got
C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming back.
Yeah, you got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or C.J. whatever he wants to be called.
Whatever his name is.
Whatever he goes by nowadays. But you've got him coming back from Detroit.
Yep.
He released an apology. This was a while ago. This wasn't recent. This was probably about 2 months ago.
Right.
But yeah, just like I said, it feels like Jalen Hurts has the pieces to win versus Dak, who's kind of got a few holes in the team.
Right.
Especially after all the defensive departures with Dan Quinn leaving.
Right.
But yeah, and Tony Pollard heading to Tennessee.
Yep.
You've got Tyron Smith, who's with the New York Jets now.
That's a big piece lost.
Zach Martin's getting older. His body's starting to kind of deteriorate.
Down.
He's gotten injured a lot in recent years, and as did Tyron Smith.
Yeah, and just to sign Zeke Elliott was just so stupid.
Yeah, to sign Zeke was just not a
and not draft a running back.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a good signing at all.
Right.
But I'll let you take a stab at it
Yeah.
now.
So I agree with Jalen Hurts. The past few years, like you said, he's gotten to the Super Bowl. He's made it farther than Dak. Until Dak gets a head coach like, I don't know, Jim Harbaugh or a what's another young one in this league? John Harbaugh, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel. If he gets one of these young guys, I think Dak could be an MVP. But until then, I'd have to go Jalen Hurts. I don't like Nick Sirianni at all, but I mean, hey, they made the Super Bowl and and they win. They do. When they win, I mean, they were 10-1 last year, which was crazy.
So they basically lost out.
And they lost out every game, but yeah, I agree with you. I would take Jalen Hurts. As of right now, going into the season, I'd go Jalen Hurts, but time can only tell what can happen. So
yeah, we definitely agree there. Jalen Hurts just has the pieces to win.
Yep.
Including the coaching staff. Whereas Dak, I mean, Mike McCarthy's just not really the answer.
Right.
And I think Jerry Jones just needs to realize that.
He does.
Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, that front office, they just need to
realize
look at each other and just realize, that Mike McCarthy's not your Super Bowl winning head coach.
No.
And if they win a Super Bowl this year, y'all can post this video wherever you want.
Yep, that's
y'all can
fine.
Post this clip wherever you want. It's not going to happen. So,
yep.
Sorry to Dayton's dad. Sorry to my dad.
Yep.
But,
sorry, Dad.
It's just I don't think that they have the pieces yet.
I think they know it's reality.
I haven't finished in 7-10, so
yep.
I just the Eagles I have as a playoff team. I just like we were saying, Jalen Hurts has the pieces, Dak doesn't, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and Dak doesn't have the coaching either. He doesn't have the
Dak
guy
doesn't
that
have the coaching.
Transform
Dak
him
is
into
a little more prone to making mistakes
than
Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts has been a phenomenal QB over the last few years.
Running ability has been great.
Running ability is insane, and I almost something I've asked myself over the last few years is, I wonder if Dak doesn't run the ball as much because of that injury that he suffered in, I think it was 2019.
I think it was maybe week 5 against the Giants. Yep, I remember that.
When Logan Ryan brought him down, snapped his ankle.
Yeah, sad.
And I mean, I know a lot of guys that they suffer an injury like that, and then they either retire, they don't run the ball ever again.
Yep.
Shout out to Alex Smith, by the way, for ever playing again after that leg injury.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, look at the Jets' new QB, Jordan Travis. Broken leg. He made it to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was only, I think, 5th round pick, 4th, 5th.
It was late round.
I know it was one of the later rounds, 5th or 6th round. But just these guys that they suffer these gruesome leg injuries. You never you see them throw the ball away more, which is a good thing.
Yep.
You don't see them take off as much, which Dak does still run the ball, but he doesn't run as much as he used to.
And he should, because once he takes off, he takes off.
Yeah, and when Dak runs, I mean, he tends to gain anywhere from 10+ yards.
Yep, he's like Mahomes. When he takes off, I mean, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, Jalen Hurts' running ability is elite compared to Dak's.
Oh yeah.
Jalen Hurts came into the league as a running QB. His arm was
Yep.
kind of underdeveloped, wasn't what it is nowadays.
Yep. Thanks to good coaching.
And I think
too.
obviously the arrivals of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith has definitely helped that.
Very.
Because now he's got guys who can just huck it up downfield. Devontae Smith can run past people. AJ Brown can catch it over people.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's our take on whether we would have Dakor Jaylen Hurts. We both agree Jalen Hurts just
Yep.
has the pieces.
Yes,
So we're
sir.
getting to topic 7, the Bills signing. I don't know how to pronounce this. Gable.
I think it's Gabe. I might have misspelled it earlier when I
okay.
typed it. I think
Gabe
it's Gable
Stevenson.
or Gabe Stevenson.
Defensive tackle, former wrestling gold medalist, has never played a snap of football in his life.
Never anybody won.
Won gold at the 2020 Olympics and is also a 2-time NCAA wrestling champ.
So pretty cool, but he hasn't played football, so I don't know how he's gonna help them. But
And that's what I'm wondering is a guy that's never played football, is probably going to be prone to a lot of penalties.
yes,
because he might not understand the game fully yet.
Yep. Holding
Obviously,
calls.
I mean, if you won gold in lifting, then you're probably going to be a pretty strong dude, so that could help.
Right.
But like I said, I could see a lot of face masks, a lot of hands in the face, a lot of roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness calls on him.
Which the NFL has called a lot this past few years.
Yeah, especially roughing the passer. There's a lot of rules against where you can hit the quarterback, how you can hit the quarterback. I mean, you can't even put your full weight on the quarterback anymore. Which I slightly agree with. Why don't we just branch into a new segment? The roughing the passer rules nowadays.
Yes. Abysmal.
I don't agree with them at all, and people can hate on me for it.
Yeah.
Because I believe that you should just let the dudes play.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, like the Ravens-Chiefs game, when people were saying it was rigged, I mean, you had guys that were, I mean, they were playing the longest yard, just punching him in the face. There was one where the dude like full on went with his helmet and like shouldered him with his his helmet, and he went flying. I mean, dude, it's just not. There's a few that are ridiculous, like the Chris Jones one. Remember that Chris Jones one?
Well, yeah, the Chris Jones on Derek Carr. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That was back.
From a
Remember
few years
that?
back.
Remember how terrible that was? Oh my god.
Because I mean, it's a normal hit. It's a normal hit, and
Yep.
he just ends up landing on Derek Carr. And even Derek
Yep.
Carr said that it was just a great play, but it's just the rules.
Yep, and Clay
It's just how
Matthews
the
too.
rules
Remember
are.
Clay Matthews
Yeah.
a few years ago?
And I mean, like I said, I definitely get it to some degree, because the NFL tries to, the way they do it, the NFL
Wants to protect their superstars.
they want to protect their superstars because it helps them get views. It helps them
Right.
maintain, money. It helps them maintain just all that stuff. So I definitely see it to some degree. You don't want, like, can you imagine if a guy like Patrick Mahomes did get hurt?
Right.
The amount
And he has before with the hip drop tackle.
Yeah, and the amount of views that they would lose from that.
Oh, yeah.
If a guy like Lamar Jackson got hurt, if
Josh Allen,
and
or
we've
Joe
seen
Burrow.
it, Joe Burrow got hurt, and it almost felt like, I didn't watch a single Bengals game.
It
felt
wasn't
like,
the same at all.
because we were watching Jake Browning, who thought that whoever it was shouldn't have ever cut him.
Yeah. Oh, the Minnesota. Good
Yeah.
lord. Yeah.
But like I said, I definitely agree to it to some degree, but
Right.
at the same time,
It gets to a certain extent where it's kind of like, okay, it's kind
if
of
you
ridiculous.
there's some dudes, if you're flying at the quarterback and you accidentally land your full body weight on him and you can't control that, then there's just no.
Yep. But they still call it for no reason.
Yeah, and there's just no way that should ever be a penalty, because the refs are almost just gifting them
Giving them a free
an
flag.
extra 15 yards.
Which is ridiculous.
But yeah, like I said, if it's one thing, like you said, if there's dudes shoulder checking QBs and
Or punching them,
like,
I haven't seen
leading
that
into
stuff
the
since the
helmet.
longest yard.
yeah, and I mean, if it's that, then that should be a roughing the passer call.
Yes.
But if
But
it's
if-
someone that's
yeah.
accidentally putting his body weight on the quarterback because he can't slow down his momentum,
Yep.
then that should never in a million years be a flag.
Well, not only that, and also, my dad's not gonna like this, but Josh Allen is also one of the flop guys in the league, where
Exactly.
if that guy barely touches him, he'll flop
And
and
you make it
draw
like
the flag.
I mean, back in the early 2000s, if you flopped, you got flagged.
Yep.
You used to
Which
get
they
flagged
should
for
do
it.
that nowadays.
Like if a punter would barely get hit and then flop on the ground, they would call a flag on the punter and they would give him a warning.
Yep.
Like they do when there's an unnecessary roughness. You get 2 warnings, and once that second one's up, you're ejected.
Yeah, you're gone. So I think they should do that. In the I think they should. I do think they should implement that rule.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I am. It's like the NBA. We've seen it a lot more recently. Just dudes that flop. LeBron James.
Oh God.
Being one of them.
Right.
Yeah, definitely agree with you on that.
Yep.
To a certain extent, I do agree. But
Yep.
then there's also just some calls that just don't make sense.
Yeah, it's where just let the boys play.
Because, like I said, I've played sports for a long time. I've watched sports for a long time. If you're running at a full speed, like defensive linemen
Like
have
your adrenaline. Yep.
you can't slow down.
No, you can't control it
with
at
the
all.
snap of a finger. You can't.
No, you can't just go like, oh, I can't. No, you're going after the football.
And you're playing friggin' football.
Yep.
Your whole goal is to sack the dude or tackle the guy with the ball. If you're a defensive player.
Correct.
And if the ball's in the air and you're a DB, your whole goal is to catch the ball.
Yep.
And somehow find a way to take it back.
That's right.
So I mean, it just feels like the NFL has gone way more soft over the last 10-ish years.
Yeah. Especially with the new, they're just trying to protect the. Which I don't blame them, but it gets to a point where it's kind of like, okay, like this.
Well, yeah, and that's how I am. I definitely agree with them because when a QB gets hurt, it almost feels like that team's season's just over.
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing like for the Steelers this year. If Russell Wilson gets hurt, it's not going to be a huge deal.
Yeah, because they got.
Justin Fields.
If Josh Allen.
But if Josh Allen gets hurt, Patrick Mahomes gets hurt.
Lamar Jackson.
Which Patrick Mahomes, if you had Chad Henne, you'd be fine.
Well, Patrick Mahomes too is if he gets hurt, I mean, it don't matter. He'll stay out on the field. He don't care.
Yeah, we saw that in 2022.
Yep.
2022, 2023 season.
Jammed his ankle and he was like, "F no." He's like, "I ain't
jammed
coming out
his
of this
ankle
game."
and played the entire rest of the playoffs.
Which
I think he jammed it first against the Jags.
Yep. And that's like a Michael Jordan move, man. You just don't,
Exactly.
It takes. He said. He said, it would have taken my entire ankle to be off for me to come out of that game, which just shows you what the guy he is.
Yeah. So kind of just branched to a new topic there, which
Yep.
I think was just kind of a little thing that you guys can
Popped
hear
up.
our opinion on.
Yep.
I see a few disagreements in there, just about what should and shouldn't be allowed.
Yep.
Which is totally fine. You
Mhm.
don't see us like skipping Shannon.
That's all right. Oh God.
Getting into full-on arguments.
Yep.
Which is also partially because it's 12:30 at night.
That's right.
So kind of got to be a little quiet. But
Mhm.
we're gonna head into our 8th topic, which is: do we think the Cowboys will repeat as champs in the NFC East, or will the streak continue where there is only one team that wins? Because over the last just over the course of really history, ever since there's only been one team in that division that's been good.
Right. It's hard to win.
It's actually it's been proven that there's never been a back-to-back division champ in the NFC East over X amount of years.
Yep.
Because a few years ago you had the Eagles.
That's right.
This last year you had Dallas.
Yep.
A while back it was the
the Redskins
Commanders,
at the
former
time.
Redskins.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah, quotes.
Yeah, we had to go quotes so we don't get canceled.
Yeah, and then the Giants, at some point were good.
Yep. Back in the Eli Manning
Back
days.
in the Eli Manning days, but and my take on this is no. I think the Eagles win the division.
Yeah. Me too.
I think history repeats itself because over the last probably 5-ish years it really just has been Eagles Cowboys.
Right.
So I've definitely got Eagles winning it this year. Like we were talking about earlier with the whole Jaylen Hurts thing, it just feels like the Eagles have the pieces. It just I don't know. Yeah, like I said, just earlier we were talking about Eagles have the pieces versus Dallas not, and it's as simple as that. The coaching for Dallas is just not all there.
Right.
Obviously, you lose Dan Quinn, who, really made your defense who they've been over the last few years.
Oh, 100%.
Because, you remember that, abysmal season that they had back in
2020.
When everything in the world was going wrong.
Oh, giving up like 50 points a game.
Back when, who was it that was their defensive coordinator?
Mike Nolan out
yeah.
of San Francisco
Yeah.
and New Orleans.
Yeah, and, that was horrid.
It's
horrid.
terrible.
I think that was also, the year that, Dak wasn't really around. So
Well, yeah, that's when he got hurt, and then
so
they had
that
Andy
obviously
Dalton.
also plays a role in that. But at the same time, your defense should never be giving up, like
No,
30 plus
no way.
points a game.
Nope.
If you're a defensive coordinator with defensive players that have made it to the NFL,
Yeah, and
your
Pro
team
Bowls.
should not
I
be.
mean, people
Yeah,
are in the Pro Bowls and everything.
I mean, you still had DeMarcus Lawrence. You still had
Leighton Vander Esch,
Leighton
Jalen
Vander
Smith,
Esch, Jalen Smith.
Chidobe Awuzie.
Yeah, you still had Chidobe Awuzie. You still had Jordan Lewis. You still had,
all kinds of players.
just all the pieces that you needed to win football games, and you couldn't win.
Yep, that was ridiculous.
What'd they go? I think 5,
6-10.
Yeah, 6-10.